Today's throwback, while we're having a look at the Mezco Cinema of Fear, we're looking today at Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is depicted in his tuxedo from Part 3, The Dream Warriors. As it stands at the time that this throwback is being done, NECA, we have not yet gotten a NECA version of this Freddy Krueger, and if we don't, I think Mezco as a whole did a pretty good job on this figure. We do a close-up on the details of the face, and I think the face on this Freddy is done really, really well. In fact, it's somewhat on par with the kind of stuff we get now from NECA and other toy companies. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's a good representation of Robert Englund, but still, as a whole, it looks decent enough. He is slightly pre-posed. You can see his arm, the way it's sculpted. His arm will always be up. You can bend at the elbow and rotate the hand, but at the end of the day, you can't really do too much with the arm. The arm's kind of just bent, at least up by the shoulder area. Now, Freddy does come with a couple of accessories, really cool accessories that I'm hoping if we ever get this figure in by NECA's release, we're going to get those same accessories. For starters, Freddy Krueger does come with an alternate head. I like the sinisterness to this Freddy, but I think on par, like in comparison to this particular head, I think I almost prefer the way he's costumed, the way he's in this tuxedo. I probably would prefer this Freddy over this one here. I mean, this Freddy would be good for really any generic Freddy Krueger body, but I think for a tuxedo, this one definitely fits the bill. You can see the difference between the two. It's just a simple peg hole, and then just a peg on Freddy's head. But I mean, it does allow you to get a ball jointed rotation in the head. There's the option either or, depending whichever figurehead you want to go with. Other accessories, and this is actually a really cool accessory. You'll notice that he's got a regular Freddy hand and his glove hand up at the top there. He does also come with, just give him this stand properly. Stand, thank you. He does also come with an alternate hand. How cool is this? An alternate hand with Kristen's mom, I think. Unfortunately, though, the alternate hand is attached. You can see it's attached to the hair, so he can just hold the head. But unfortunately, this peg is extremely, and this is the problem that some of the Mezco figures had, this peg is extremely fragile. So I would say if you ever think to interchange the hand like so, I would say I wouldn't take the hand out, put it back in, change the hands back and forth too much. You might find the hand eventually breaking. Likeness on the head, it's debatable. I don't know if it really looks quite like the mom, but still, details are all there. Nice severed bloody stump for the bottom of the head there. So I like that. I like the fact that you get that included. Again, if NECA decides they release this figure, and really the way that they're going with releasing them, we're probably going to get this figure eventually. I hope we get an alternate hand with the same idea. That would definitely work very well. And the last accessory, the one that I think is the coolest, I'm hoping again would get re-released if this figure ever gets done by NECA. The other accessory that we get is a skeleton, or the skeletal remains of Freddy Krueger. They fight him out in the, I guess the auto junk heap. I don't quite know how the skeletal remains of Freddy Krueger in the real world could come out and start fighting them, unless they did they fall asleep? I don't remember, it's been a while, but needless to say, you do get a skeletal Freddy. Now he does come he comes disassembled when you get the figure. There's just actually peg holes here. There's pegs in his arm. It's simple enough, you just peg the arms into place. It does allow for some movement in the arms, but you do have to be careful because of that peg, that just doesn't come loose on you. His articulation only is in the legs, in the arms, and then in the head. At least the head is ball jointed. The arms and the legs are pretty much just swivels. But a really nice addition. He does actually have peg holes too, because he does also come with a base. I think a base is crucial because this particular Freddy will not, the skeletal Freddy will not stand. He's just too flimsy, too small, that at least giving him a display base, like so, you can at least get him to stand like that. So in some regards, Mezco, you ended up getting 2 figures for the price of 1, even though technically this isn't really much of a figure, but still, if NECA is paying attention, I'm hoping, oh, and actually there's a swivel in the rib area there as well, but I'm really hoping if NECA does decide to release a Freddy in tuxedo, or really just another Freddy from part 3, I'm hoping we'll get a skeletal remain Freddy as well. That would be a really nice addition. Now in the way of this Freddy's articulation, as I mentioned, he has a ball jointed head. He has a swivel in the shoulder. He has a bend in the elbow. He has a rotation and hinge in the hand as well over here. Swivel in the waist. His legs are on a V pivot, so his legs kind of are on an awkward angle, but they swivel back and forth. A bend at the knee, and nothing really in the foot because the foot is just pre-sculpted. But still, you get I mean, even as it stands right now, that's a pretty neat pose. You can only imagine having the mom's hand in place as well. That would definitely look really neat. This is probably one of my favorite Freddys from the Mezco line. I think they really did a good solid job on this figure. Another reason why I wanted to do a throwback on a lot of these figures was just because, again, lighting and backdrop, and having this now in high def, it definitely deserved going back and re-reviewing some of these figures. I don't even think I gave this guy a rating because a lot of my older reviews I didn't do ratings for these figures, but if I could give a rating to Part 3 Freddy, I'm going to give him, just overall execution, I'm going to give him a 7.5. I think he was done well. If you were to compare him to maybe what a NECA version of this guy would be, NECA's would be better. But I mean, this is a dated figure, this one's a little older, so you kind of have to give some luxuries to the fact that they were first at the game. And I think Mezco did a really solid job. Today's throwback, we were having a look once again at the Mezco Cinema of Fear Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Tuxedo Freddy. Certainly stick around, guys. There are more throwbacks and other reviews heading your way. I'll see you guys next time.